Today we're going to be looking over some practice problems on system of inequalities, so when you have more than one inequality and how to graph it. This is actually how it looks on the STAR test. It gives you a coordinate grid. It'll ask you how to graph the first equation. So graph 1 is for this first one. You got to be real specific. You can't graph this one and graph the second one for it. Okay, so you got to make sure they match up. So graph 1 is x plus y is less than 4. Graph 2 is x minus y is less than or equal to 3. And then solution set is you'll choose where the shaded area will be. Alright, so graph 1. X plus y is less than 4. So to get that over here on a Desmos and graph it so I can get 2 good points, first thing I need to do is get y by itself. And so what I want to do is I want to draw my line down my inequality symbol. I'm going to take the x across to the opposite side. And when we take it to the opposite, we make it the opposite. So instead of positive x, now it's going to be a negative x. I don't know why I started putting a 4, but negative x. Now that the x is gone, you're left with the positive y. And that's all we wanted. So it's y is less than 4 minus x. Now instead of less than, we put equals, because less than won't show up on our testing calculator. And so 4 minus x gives us the line, because that's all we need right now is just the line. Now looking at the inequality over here, I realize it doesn't have a solid line under it for equal to, so it's not technically solid. It should actually be dashed and look like that. Alright, now I need 2 good points. Well, there's 2 solid whole numbers. And so 0, 4. So on this graph, I go to 0, 4. And I click there and it's going to put one of the points. Then I go to my second point, 4, 0. So when 4 is x and y is 0. And it draws the line for me. Now again, I got to remember this needs to be dashed because it was missing the equal to. So I just go to dashed and there we go. Now I go to graph number 2. And I need to graph this one on Desmos to get my 2 good points. However, y is not by itself. So I need to go back in there. Let's alter it. Manipulate it, get y by itself. So again, we're solving for y, so we're not moving this, that's staying. The x is going to go across, become the opposite, and so it becomes a negative x over here. So this x is gone. Now I'm left with a negative y. I want it to be a positive y, so I divide it by a negative 1, because that's the number multiplying by it, that's its coefficient. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is positive 1. So that leaves you with y, and if I do it to one side, I do it to the other. Alright, and there we go. Now if I simplify this, this would be negative 3 plus x, but I'm going to graph it just like I have over here. 3 minus x divided by negative 1. And there we go. Now on this one, it should be a solid line because it has the solid line underneath the inequality or the equal to underneath it. Alright, so it's solid. And here's my 2 points this time. It doesn't always work out with your intercepts, but if it does, hey, just grab them, there you go. So 3, 0. So graph number 2, I am selected on it. 3, 0 right there. And then 0, negative 3, 0, negative 3. It's solid, good stuff. Now the next thing I need to look at is where does the shade go? So I go to the solution set. Where are all of my solutions? So for the first one, for the red one, it's everything less than the line. So anything down here. And then for the other one, for my yellow line right here, it's going to be less than or equal to. However, because I divided by a negative, it flips the symbol. So this becomes a greater than symbol. Faces the other direction. So it's everything above this blue line. So anything below the red and above the blue, this is the area that matches. So it's right over there. Alright. Now we're going to skip on past that one. Let's look at this one real quick. Number 3 on here. Go back, clear my graphs. Alright, same thing. I'm graphing 2 inequalities. I need to graph their lines and then shade the solid area that's going to be shared by both. So first thing I need to do is get y by itself, line down my inequality. We're solving for the y right here, so that's going to stay. Now, I know that right away, whatever's multiplying times y is going to get divided. So I could go ahead and prep that and divide by my positive 4 on the bottom, right here. And then the x isn't multiplying, and so I do the opposite and bring it across. Opposite of positive x is negative x, and there we go. So negative 12 minus x divided by 4. Since I divided by positive 4, the symbol stays the same, it'll stay less than. Alright, so let's see. Now if I were to simplify that, negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3, so minus 3. And then negative 1 divided by 4 is just negative 1 over 4, so it says negative 1 over 4x minus 3. Y equals negative 1 over 4 x minus 3. And this will be a dashed line because it's missing the line underneath. And the shade for this one will be less, so it's underneath. So the shade is down here. Now for the second one, y minus x is less than 4. That one has less steps to it because the y is already positive, so there's no dividing on this one. Line down the inequality. This is what we're keeping in the same place because that's what we're solving for. So we move this across and make it the opposite. So the minus x becomes a plus x. And that's it. Because now again, y is a positive, it's just one y. That's it. We do not flip the symbol because we did not divide by a negative number. So all I need to type in over here is just 4 plus x. And this will also be dashed because it's missing the solid line underneath the inequality it's not equal to. And so this is an invisible line that is not equal to that barrier or to that limit. Now looking, they're both less than, neither one of them flipped. And so it's everything underneath this purple and everything underneath this green. So this is my shaded area that I want that they have in common. So now I got to go graph them. So I need 2 good points for purple. Let's go with those two. Let's go negative 4, 0. Wait, hold on. Purple was my second equation, so I need to go to graph 2. So negative 4, 0. And 0, 4. 0, 4. And that should be dashed. Alright, and then graph 1, right back up here. Good thing I double checked because I almost did those in the wrong order. Now on the green one, I can see one of them. Now let's say I didn't know how to move over and see this one, or let's say it wasn't a whole number for negative 12. Well, actually, this wouldn't work anyway. Because if I look at my graph, it doesn't go over to negative 12. So what I need instead is I need 2 good points that will fit on this coordinate grid. So what I do is I go click on my equation up here. I go to settings. I click on the table for the green one, and I need these points. So there's a good one. And then I don't see another good set of whole numbers here that I can grab. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to keep going. So here was 2. It didn't work out. Let's plug in 3 and see what we get. No, let's go with 4. Okay, so 4 gave me a whole number. So I'm going to go at 4, negative 4. Right? So that should be this one right here. Yeah, so I want that one and this one. Those are my 2 sets of whole numbers, or my 2 good points. Let me plot those 2 right over here for graph number 1. So 0, negative 3. And again, just double check, guys. Make sure it's in the same spot. It'll also help you plotting points if you're not so strong at graphing coordinates. And then 4, negative 4. So I go to the right 4 and then down 4. So right 4, down 4. There we go. And this is dashed. So I need to change it to dashed. And we said earlier they were both less than. And so this is the shaded area. So solution set and right there. There we go. All right, let's do one more. One more. So pause right here. Pause on the video. See if you can do this one on your own. And then unpause and see if you got it. Now the first thing I would do is solve for y again. So line down the inequality. We're solving for y, so that stays there. I know I'm going to divide by negative 3 because that's multiplying times y, and we do the opposite to undo the multiplication. So I divide by a negative 3. That's gone. This x will go across and become the opposite. So a negative x, and now it's a minus x because there's something that you can subtract from or take away from in front of the dash. And so there we go. Now, Remember, since I divided by a negative, this symbol flips, and it's technically now a less than. It's technically now a less than symbol. So y is less than 6 minus x divided by negative 3. And again, if we simplify it, you divide your 6 divided by your negative 3, your negative 1 divided by negative 3 as well. Alright, so let's see, 6x divided by negative 3. There we go. And that one is dashed. So let me go ahead and put it on here so I don't forget later. There we go. Alright, we're good. Now if you wanted to, you could go ahead and just graph this one now. So let's go ahead and do that. We didn't do it on the other ones. Let me see if I can get these two as good points. Alright, they're both good points. They will both fit on the graph. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and plot those. So 0, negative 2. 0, and then down 2. And then 6, comma 0. So I go across to 6, and I don't go up or down because it went up 0. Alright, and this is a dashed line. Alright, on to equation number 2. Now again, before I move on, I got to remember, I would write this down on a separate piece of paper. This symbol did flip because we had a negative y, so we were dividing by a negative. So this ended up being less than. So it's anything underneath this line. That's where we're at so far. Alright, graph number 2. Y plus x is less than 5. Let's go in there, draw our line. Y stays by itself. It's not multiplying times anything, positive or negative, and so it stays the same. So we're not going to divide this time. We just take everything else across and make it the opposite. So instead of plus x, now this is going to be a minus x. Done with that. Y is by itself. We did not divide by negative, so we do not need to flip the inequality. It's just y is less than 5 minus x. So 5 minus x. And a reminder, we're putting equals so it'll show up, because if I put the less than symbol, nothing shows up in the testing app. So there we go. And this one should also be dashed because it's missing the line underneath. So there we go. Both less than symbols. And so, because again, this one flipped, so both less than. So it means everything under this green line is good, and everything under the blue line is good, which means the doubled up area is the very bottom. So I need 2 good points. Let's see if these will both work. That's not what I wanted. There it is. Alright, so that's at 5, 0. 0 right there. And at 0, 5. Go and we said it's dashed, and our shaded area is in the bottom portion. How'd you do? Now there's one more way we can look at this. Let's say, for example, and we're just going to look at one inequality by itself, not a system. Just one single. So let's say we had x is less than 2y plus 12. Okay, let's say that's our equation that we're looking at, or our inequality. And we need to get this graphed over here, right? Same steps as before, except if you look, before we always had y on the left side, and this time y is on the right side. So what I like to do here is I just flip everything across. That's a lot of ink. Let's change that up. Alright, so what I like to do is I put the y on the left side, and all we do is we just flip everything. So the 2y plus 12 goes on the left, the x will go on the right, and since you flipped everything, the 2 sides, you also flip the symbol. So the inequality flips the other direction. Okay? Now we solve, because these two things mean the exact same. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and solve for y, just like we were doing earlier. So here we go. Line down the inequality. Y is what I'm solving for. And so I know I'm going to end up dividing by that 2. So I could do that early if I wanted to. So when I divide by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So it's just 1 positive y by itself. If I divide by it on one side, I divide by it on the other side. And then we take whatever's left, move it across, make it the opposite. So that plus 12 becomes a minus 12. And now we're left with y is greater than x minus 12 over 2. Okay, so I graph x minus 12 over 2. And so the thing here that you got to remember is just to flip the sides. So again, if y is on the right side, flip the entire thing before doing any steps. Before moving, x or dividing, just flip the entire thing. So the last little piece that you need to do is just go and graph this and then shade it. Now, we ended up with a greater than. I'm pretty sure we were greater than. You might want to go back in the video and check and make sure that it was greater than. But pretty sure it was greater than. And it was not or equal to, it did not have a solid line, so I would make this dashed. And if it ended up being greater than, it's everything shaded above up here. And so I'd get 2 good points. Now I can't see the other good point. I could drag and find it over here. 12, 0, but that wouldn't fit on my graph, or on my coordinate grid. And so this is one of those where we go back, create a table, and we need 2 good points. Oh, here we go, 0, -6, and 2, -5. So 0, -6, so it's 0, it's right there. So it's 0 and -6, and then at 2, -5. So when x is 2, y is -5, there we go. And we were saying that the shade was greater, so it was above, so I shaded above. And there are some questions like this, guys, where it's only one inequality. It's not 2. It's not a system like the ones I was practicing earlier in this video. And this is exactly how you would do it. It just wouldn't have graph 2 on here. It would only have graph 1. Choose if it's dash or solid, put the 2 points, and then where is the solution set? Shaded on what side? Okay? So, if you're still struggling with any of this or it doesn't make sense, go back, rewatch it. Alright, it's just practice.